Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Jackson, Mississippi. We are here at the Vet. As Ja is looking at me completely crazy, you're not going to hear me in the headset. So, you're fine. So, Kim, go ahead and pull the stream up on your phone. Make sure that we're still live, which I'm pretty sure we are, folks. Getting it going. We're getting out here a little bit. They had us moving around to a couple of different places. Want to give our guy Travis Jerome a shout out for getting us set up here, of course. Thank A.D. Ashley Robinson for allowing us to come out and be a part of what they've got going on. We are here for the W.C. Gordon Classic, where the Tigers of Jackson State will be hosting the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee University. Tuskegee coming off of a big win against Central State, I believe that was last week. The first night game in the history of Cleve Abbott Stadium. They had a big win. And just thinking about history, and we'll probably get into this a little later with some of the other folks here, the last time these two teams met, Tuskegee took it to the Tigers of Jackson State. That was a lifetime ago in football years, folks. So please make sure that you don't take too much, but you never know with these Golden Tigers what they're going to do. So before we get started, folks, what we'd like you to do is please share the feed. Talk to your friends. Share it out. Let folks know that we are here live talking about all things HBCU sports. I will be joined by A.D. Drew shortly. I'm sure we'll get a couple of other folks to come in. Joining me here live soon will be Miss Sonja Stamps of She Say Sports and Mr. Charles Bishop of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Dr. Cavill, I believe, is in the building. The dean is here, making sure that we keep things moving. Going to get into that. One of the other things that you can look forward to is we're going to have our guy Ja come in from Just Ja Sports, talking some D2 sports and getting things together. We'll also be talking about a little bit of some of the past games, but really more so getting into what is happening this week and what you have to look forward to with these games. We'll also be talking some HBCU volleyball and football, bringing you the players of the week from the different schools around. And we're going to have a couple of interviews, bring in some more stuff in. I believe we'll be able to get that interview that we were trying to get for Barbara Scotia in for you guys this week. But we're going to keep going. So until we can get some of the things going, we're going to go ahead and take our first break. Please, again, go ahead and share the feed out. Get us going. And we're going to get ready for that fall 25 C1 and have it ready to go. And we will be back right here live from the Veterans Memorial Stadium in Jackson, Mississippi in just a few with the BCSN GameTime show.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC, plus an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in due fall.
This is Ryan Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th for event and ticket information. Visit college football fans. The Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. College football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit the Celebration Bowl.
Good afternoon, or no, good morning. It's still good morning. Welcome back to the Vet here on the campus of, well, technically we're not on the campus of Jackson State, but we are at the stadium of Jackson State University, the Veterans Memorial Stadium here in Capital City. Jackson is the capital city of Mississippi. Is that Geography 101 that we're getting back to? To make sure that we've got things going on and keeping it moving and getting ready, man. So, Ja, I think we need to make sure, Kim, turn those other things up. Let's make sure we get Ja on. Ja's going to have a conversation. He's off camera right now, but we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that are going up. And it doesn't matter. Just turn 1 and 3 up. He should be on one of the two. And, the folks will let us know if they're here. Ja, how you doing today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I am doing well. So let's, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the D2 things that are going on and some of the things that have happened. Tell us some of the highlights that we have to look forward to, and what are some of the conversations that you're going to be bringing forward with some of that?
Today, the main topic today would be the Unity Classic down in Jacksonville with 13th ranked in Division II, 13th ranked Virginia Union going to Edward Waters. I see it as an opportunity for Edward Waters to show that they're a team to be taken seriously, because Virginia Union is no joke. They dropped 45 points on Miles in the first game, established themselves as the best team in Division II football for HBCUs at this moment.
That's a strong statement.
Oh no, that's a fact. If I'm being honest, I don't think that's a hot take at all. And Edward Waters is ready to prove themselves. They're averaging 45 points a game right now. They have one of the best defenses in Division II in terms of takeaways right now. So I think they're excited to prove themselves against a very tough opponent. And I think one of the main highlights from last week would be Isaiah Knowles from Albany State, 7 touchdowns against Kentucky State. I can't remember off the top of my head the amount of yards, but this is his 3rd career game with 6 or more touchdowns. So this is nothing new for him. And this week, I think Albany State goes down to Tallahassee.
No. We're gonna stop right there. Just hold on. We'll get to all of that. We're gonna get into talking about some of the games. I didn't even want him to finish what he was saying, because there are a lot of people who right now agree with what he's saying about some of that. But what that is seeing is that the Division II HBCUs are actually having some really good times. Some of the top tier schools are showing that they belong and getting engaged. Folks, this is one of the things that happens with the new transfer portal. Transfer portal gives guys extra opportunities to continue to play. They can go down. Some of these Division II schools actually have graduate programs. So you're actually getting students who have matriculated through college and are now more adults coming into some of these programs who want to play an extra year and get involved. And it's going to be a lot of things that are going on. Keep your eyes out, John. We're going to have some of the guys joining us from the rest of the crew to come in and talk about some of the different things that we're going to have going on. And again, we will be looking forward to talking to Dr. Cavill about the conference that he had going on here yesterday that had Ashley Robinson, Reginald Ruffin of Tuskegee, and of course the Dr. Charles McClellan, the commissioner of the SWAC. SWAC Athletic Conference is a conundrum because I'm saying it's the same thing. It's the SWAC, which is the Southwestern Athletic Conference. It's kind of like saying ATM machine when ATM is telling you that it's the machine. But we digress and we get some things going in there. Now let's go. You know, we did have some stuff. We'll talk a little bit about the Unity Classic as that game is going to happen. One of the things, of course, that happened that is was a shock and surprising, but moved Edward Waters forward in the minds of a lot of people is right before the start of the season, their head coach left. And Brian Jenkins, who is a former D1 head coach in HBCU football and had a lot of success right down I-95 in Florida at Bethune-Cookman, took over. And he has these guys focused and ready to go. And I think Coach Jenkins is one of the reasons that a lot of people believe that Edward Waters is going to kind of step up and do a lot of different things and really engage. It is going to be a problem for a lot of schools, not just in the SIAC, but some of the Division I schools that they're going to be playing also and getting into. So one of the things that we will jump into now is one of our other segments is what else to look forward to. We will be getting into the Blitz today, where we'll be talking about the games that are going to be happening. So folks, just kind of let you know, we will do some things. And yes, I am biased. And so what that means is that we are focusing on those games that are HBCU on HBCU. And those will be the games that we will be talking about. We will do a scoreboard for you later that will show you the other games that are going to be happening in the HBCU diaspora playing against other schools. But we will be focusing and talking about those different games. Again, you can stay tuned. We're going to be talking about some of the players of the week for the HBCU football and volleyball to get engaged in that as we get some of those things going. And I think that's what we're going to go ahead and get ready to do when we come back from this. Do you have your highlights ready to go? Not yet. We're going to go ahead and take one more break, come back, and then we're going to get into the players of the week as it relates to both volleyball. And we'll start off with volleyball. We'll come back to football later when we get some of the other guys here. But stay tuned. We'll be back with the players of the week right here on the BCSN Game Time Show.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC, plus an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
football fans. The Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
Welcome back to the Vet Live right here on the BCSN Game Time Show. So, folks, what we're going to do right now is get into some of the HBCU volleyball honors from this past week, and John's going to pull them up, and we're going to tell you about some of these players as we get going and getting into it. And as we start with the MEAC's player of the week was Miss Isaiah, I'm hoping I say your name right, Buckner. Buckner posted back-to-back double-doubles at the UNF Invitational, posting 18 kills, 13 digs versus Presbyterian, and 10 kills with 13 digs against host UNF. She added 12 aces and 4 block assists across the 3-match weekend, and as well was named the tournament MVP. You can see some of the other volleyball awardees. Ms. Zanaya Jetmore was the defensive player of the week. Rookie of the week was Alexis James, and Leah Reeves was the setter of the week. All Howard players. Oh, go ahead, Howard. That's the HU. I got somebody watching who says they're from the real HU, but, you know, that's how it goes, man. Next up, we have the CIAA and the volleyball player. The offensive player of the week was Miss Simone Morris. She's an outside hitter from Fayetteville State, hometown of Tyler, Texas. She powered the Broncos offense with 52 kills over 13 sets, averaging 4 kills per set. And she added 4 service aces and contributed to 58 total points. Your player of the week in the CIAA is Simone Morris. Up next is the volleyball players of the week for the HBCU. I'm going to sit there for, why is the logo not on there? I forgot to put their logo on their graphic, but this is for the HBCU AC, formerly known as the GCAC. Hey, Dr. Baker Barnes, how you doing? It's been a long time. The player of the week for that is Miss Kamira Murray, the attacker of the week. She recorded 34 kills, 9 digs, and 6 service aces in 2 matches against national NAIA Division II schools last week. Her 18 kills helped the Ambassadors defeat Lemoyne Owen College in 5 sets. She put up an equal performance with 16 kills and 2 aces against Miles College. Congratulations, Miss Murray. And up next for that, the volleyball players of the week for the SWAC. As you see it coming in, the offensive player of the week is Miss Morgan. Morgan finished last week's action at the Georgia Classic with 38 kills, including a team and match-tied 19 against Texas Tech. She also added 3 digs and had a total of 12 blocks, Miss Jamire Morgan. That is, of course, from ASU, and you see the rest of them. Trinity Mitchell, the defensive player of the week. Setter of the week, Miss Mackenzie Taplin, and newcomer of the week, Miss Adeline Jaderfor. And listen, if I butcher your name, I apologize. We will do better. Next up, I believe, is the SIAC. The SIAC offensive player of the week is Miss Claire Hayes from Spring Hill College, the middle blocker, a junior from Robertsdale, Alabama. Hayes had an electric debut weekend at the Spring Hill Suites Invitational at the UWF Fieldhouse through 4 matches and against nationally recognized opponents, including number 15 Southwest Minnesota State and RV West Florida. The redshirt junior totaled a league-leading 70 kills, folks. I did say that, 70 kills, and posted a .271 clip. Her highlight performance came against Northern Michigan, where she rattled off 21 kills behind a .364 hitting percentage. Again, congratulations, Miss Hayes. I believe that is our volleyball players of the week. Hey, we want you guys to stay tuned, though, because we're going to be doing so much more with volleyball. Our girl, Michelle, is going to be joining us again, coming back with updates, conversations with coaches and players, and a lot more stuff. You know, we may not be able to broadcast volleyball games as we were used to, but we're still going to cover it like no one else does, and that's what we do here at the Black College Sports Network. No, I am not being petty, Kim. That is just me stating facts. So we're going to get ready to go get some more stuff going. We're actually going to look at having a few folks come in. We're going to take our next break and come back, and this time we'll get into some of the football players of the week as we wait for AD Drew to be prepared to join us. He's not in there yet before I go. Okay, so we're waiting for AD Drew to come in. He's going to talk to us a little bit about the game that he is, of course, attending again today, another one with Morehouse College, where he will be facing the Bison of Howard University in the New York Classic, I believe is what it is. The New York City Classic. Is it the New York City Classic?
HBCU NY Classic.
The HBCU NY Classic. So we're going to take us another break, come back, talk to you about the players of the week in football, and then get into our conversation with our guy, AD Drew. We'll be back right here with more on the BCSN Game Time Show.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC, plus an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com. College football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit the Celebration Bowl.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the BCSN Game Time Show. As you can see, my partner in crime, who was with me in Miami a few weeks ago, is now on his way to Tallahassee. Folks, let's take a moment to say hello and congratulations to the new voice of the Rattler Sports Network, Mr. Brian W. Fulford. Dr. B, what's happening, man? Is he muted?
Yo, what's up, Roy?
There he is.
Hopefully, oh yeah, what's up? Hopefully you can hear me well right now. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bro. We got it. We can't hear you. Don't know if you heard us. We were saying congratulations on your new post as the voice of the Rattler Sports Network. Headed up to Tallahassee now for a game that everyone is talking about, which is one of the reasons I wanted to kind of hold off on having the conversation about it until we got you on to get it. So, John, let's go ahead and pull that graphic up, and you can get in on this conversation if you want to as well. Coming up today in Tallahassee, Florida, the Rattlers of Florida A&M are hosting the Albany State Rams. And, Brian, I'm going to let John tell you what he thinks, but he's got some strong words before I get you to give your opinion. John, go ahead, man.
Call me biased, but
Biased.
I do think Albany State goes down there and upsets FAMU at home.
And Brian, I'm not going to tell you that he has on an Albany State Rams bracelet today.
I had to represent somehow.
Wow. I mean, okay. I didn't know he went to Albany State. I thought he went to another school. Okay, I'm just checking. I was making sure, I know we got people who get multiple degrees from HBCU, so I just had to double check that for a second.
This is familial. My entire family went to Albany State pretty much.
Okay.
Well, that's funny. That's a theme of this game. That's the theme of this game. Head coach James Coley's whole family, or especially his parents, went to Albany State. So, and then we got the head coach of Albany State being a Florida A&M graduate, a FAMU legend, Hall of Famer. So this will be interesting. But, I will say this, John, and I get it, recency bias, and if these two teams were FCS opponents, it would be easy to say Albany State will beat FAMU. And I just think, though, when you look at the history of Division II versus FCS or FCS versus FBS, we're talking, I don't even know if it's a full percent probability of, the lower division team winning. So history is not on the side of Albany State. And I usually say this, that in order for the lower division team to beat the upper division team, a couple things have to happen. One, the upper division team has to make a lot of mistakes, turnovers. You got to basically gift bag some turnovers to the other team, whether it be special teams, pick sixes, scooping scores, or just a multitude of turnovers, right? That's the first thing. And then the second thing, the lower division team has to almost play a perfect game, meaning you got to be efficient on offense. You got to hold the upper level team to field goals instead of touchdowns. And those are the things that have to happen for Albany State to beat FAMU. And I know, people will say, well, FAMU has not looked great on offense. And I'm not going to argue that point. They only scored 3 field goals against Howard. Weren't able to punch the ball into the end zone on one of the 4 near red zone opportunities that they had. And then, of course, they play the FBS, so you got to take that into consideration. So I get it. I get it. And yes, Albany State has, what are they averaging, like 50 points a game because they've beaten on, the Powerpuff Girls over the last 2 weeks. I get it. I get it. It looks impressive. It looks impressive. So, but, just don't put a paycheck on it, John. That's all I'm going to tell you. Don't put a paycheck on it.
So, Brian, let me jump in and talk about a couple of things that you did just mention. We know in the first week at the Orange Blossom Classic, as you stated, the Rattlers were only able to put up field goals in that competition. Now, the next week against an FBS opponent, they were able to score 2 touchdowns. I know that you guys are doing a new Monday night show. I'm not sure what you're calling it on the ONG Strike Zone. What is that show being called?
Monday Night Review. The Monday Night Review.
All right, so the Monday Night Review. And I remember specifically on that first one, you all being concerned with our offense not taking chances going down the field or going into the end zone when in the red zone. Have you seen enough to think that that has been corrected so that they can now come in and do some of those things that you all were seeing that they needed to do against, as you stated, what some might call a lesser opponent? Now, the caveat to that, of course, is as you mentioned, Quinn Gray is a legend at FAMU, Hall of Famer quarterback. And listen, he puts it up and he knows how to do it. And there's an underlying tone that we'll come back to as far as the storyline to that. But let me get you to answer that question.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him a lower, anybody would say lower, maybe a lower division opponent, probably a better way of referring to them. But what I did see from week 1 to week 2 by Florida A&M's offensive coordinator, Henry Burris, I saw better play calling. I did see the ball move to the receivers better. And yes, the quarterback was a little more accurate. The receivers were a little bit better, not entirely better as they needed to be, but a little bit better. And that's what's encouraging. FAMU never got into the red zone against FAU to really attack the end zone. They scored on 2 big plays, one of them being like a 20-plus yard run, and the other being on a 65-yard pass play. So that one you can maybe credit to some broken coverage by the opponent's secondary. So we'll see. I mean, honestly, we have to wait to see what FAMU offense looks like when they're around the 20. And my hope is hopefully we will see them attack the end zone. But overall, I do like the play calling from week 2 to week 1. And that leads me to have a little bit of optimism in the fact that the growth of quarterback R.J. Johnson is there. The play calling is maybe being less conservative, which means you're liking and there's more comfortability there in his ability and in his ability in the offense.
All right. Well, there you go. Well, as the voice, we're not going to ask you to pick this game. We're going to assume who your winner is going to be in this one as you're getting ready to go. But please let folks know, first off, how they can tune in and check you out during this broadcast today.
Well, we are broadcasting on the WHBX 96.1 FM in Tallahassee, which I believe you can also pick up via, I believe, like the iHeartRadio app, or you can go to that 96.1 FM station in Tallahassee, Florida, and listen to it that way as well. I know the game will be streamed, the video game will stream on as you're watching the game, watch the game and listen to the audio broadcast with myself and FAMU Hall of Famer and National Championship quarterback Albert Chester. He's the color man. And so I'm looking forward to a good broadcast, a good opportunity to bring Rattler football to the masses.
All right. Well, listen, before you do get out of here, it seems like you're on I-10 because there were parts of that where you were kind of underwater. And we both know how that I-10 corridor is as it relates to cell phone.
Not quite on I-10. Yeah, no,
okay,
still on 75, yet. But there's similar parts. There's some spots on I-75 that you basically just kind of go underwater. So I apologize for that.
No problem. Hey, let's do this. I'd actually like to get your opinion on a couple of other games, and we're going to start off the one that's going to be right down I-10 and the Unity Classic with Edward Waters facing Virginia Union. We're going to get that image up. So let's talk about a little bit about that game. What do you see happening in that game as the inaugural Unity Classic kicks off?
This, I hate to just make this game bigger than maybe what it should be. But this is a program-defining game for Edward Waters. First off, they're playing a number one ranked defending national champion in Virginia Union. And Virginia Union has shown their ability to go on the road and win big games. They've shown that over the last few years under Dr. Alvin Parker. Edward Waters, we've seen them have moments, flashes, where it looks like it's starting to come together, but we haven't really seen it all come together over a complete season. And then you come into this season, former coach Morgan leaves right after media day and heads off to Tennessee State. Brian Jenkins takes over. Of course, we know his resume, we know his ability, and they've got a big-time quarterback, Noah Biden. So I think we're on the verge of seeing if Edward Waters is ready for the spotlight. If these players really believe in their ability. We know Brian Jenkins can coach them up. So I think we got a great coaching matchup between two national championship winning coaches. But are the players bought in? Do they believe that they can beat Virginia Union? And should Edward Waters, I don't have to call it an upset, even though they're home, if they beat Virginia Union, even though this is a CIAA versus SIC matchup, this will go a long way in people's minds in predicting Edward Waters to win the conference. And I think we will finally say that Edward Waters is here, and they are here to stay, at least under the leadership of Brian Jenkins.
All right. Well, then listen, not very often does your head coach leave and the backup assistant head coach be someone of the caliber of a Coach Jenkins. And right now, I'm expecting a lot from this team. As you mentioned, Virginia Union has been at the top of our rankings in the Dr. Cavill Inside HBCU Sports Lab rankings for a long time. And as the defending national champions, they're starting off that way. So this is not going to be a cakewalk. This is literally and truly a litmus test about where your program is in that Division II space. And I would agree with you. I would say that it's about the players. We know that the coaching is going to be top tier, and he's going to put those guys in the position to make the plays that they need to make. The question is, will they make the plays? Before I get you out of here, we're gonna go through. Let's go ahead and do the offensive or do the players of the week for football and get your opinion on some of these folks as we come through here. And we're going to see what you think. Starting back for the CIAA, Fayetteville State, the standout is one Mr. Matthew Leach. In a standout showing against UNC Pembroke, Matthew Leach led all players with a game-high 11 tackles, 6 solo, and 5 assisted, while adding 1.5 sacks for losses and a 5-yard sack. He also recovered a fumble, playing a key role in the resilient defense's effort on the road. Congratulations, Mr. Leach, as the linebacker defensive player of the week in the CIAA. And up next, we have the MEAC Weekly Football Award winners. The defensive player of the week was Mr. Charles C.J. Wesley. Rookie of the week, Maximum Copeland from, Morgan. Mr. Wesley is from Howard. Another player from Morgan is Daniel Casillas Jr., who is the offensive lineman of the week. And the specialist of the week was Evan Helfrich from Norfolk State. Now, our offensive player of the week for the MEAC was Delaware State quarterback Caden Bennett. He'd been named the MEAC offensive player of the week. The 6-foot quarterback, junior, 195 pounds from Reno, Nevada, placed the Hornets offense in their first win of the season, a 37-32 victory over University of Albany. He completed 17 of 27 passes for 179 yards with a long completion of 41 yards while adding 137 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Congratulations, Mr. Bennett. Next up, we have the SWAC players of the week. The newcomer, Quincy Ivory from Jackson State. The specialist, Gerardo Beza from Jackson State. The co-defensive players, one from Texas Southern, Mr. Matthew Cooks, and Lenore Jalil, co-defensive player from Alabama State. Ooh, excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Our offensive player of the week was Cornelius Brown. Mr. Brown completed 25 of 34 passing for 260 yards with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, and rushed the ball for 7 times for 69 yards with 2 touchdowns. His 7-yard touchdown run with 2 minutes and 43 seconds remaining in the first quarter broke a 14-14 tie between Alcorn State and Alabama State. Congratulations, gentlemen. And finally, our SIAC. Our SIAC players of the week. We're going to go. The offensive player of the week is Isaiah Knowles. Somebody talked about this young man, the quarterback from Albany State. An impressive performance. Albany State's 49-21 conference opening victory over Kentucky State, showcasing his leadership and versatility on offense. Knowles accounted for a remarkable 7 total touchdowns, throwing for 6 and adding 1 on the ground, while leading the Golden Rams with the hold on. Let me clear my throat. 499 yards of offense. He connected with 4 different receivers, including multiple touchdowns to Xavier Herndon and Corey Petty, and sealed the win with a 38-yard touchdown pass to Javion Jackson in the fourth quarter. Knowles passed for 304 yards and rushed for 89, including 1 rushing touchdown. With his efficiency, poise, and playmaking ability, Knowles set the tone for the Golden Rams' second consecutive victory and solidified his status as one of the SIA's premier offensive threats. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The players of the week in HBCU football. Brian, talk to me. That young man with those numbers is on his way to Bragg Memorial Stadium. Does that change anything that you talked about a little bit?
No. Everything I talked about is because it is what it is. I mean, he's an FBS transfer, if I'm not mistaken. Played at Navy, or he was at Navy, and look, he's shown his ability. He's shown why he was an FBS recruit, and so they got a good one at Albany State. FAMU's gonna have to be ready, but they just faced off.
Go ahead, B.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Well, no, I was just saying, the one positive thing for FAMU's defense is they have faced off against 2 pretty decent quarterbacks with 2 different styles. The Howard quarterback in week 1 was he did more of his damage, I thought, with his running ability and leading Howard on their 1 touchdown drive, and then at the end of the game, their game-winning drive. And then last week, they had to deal with an air raid offense from a quarterback who, he was just throwing darts out there. So however Knowles wants to bring it, if he wants to bring it in the air, FAMU's defense should be ready. If he wants to put it on the ground, they should be ready for that. So I think this is actually a good thing that FAMU's defense has faced the 2 different style of quarterbacks that they have the last.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we are losing Brian. He's getting ready to head into that void that is the dark area, as we call it, on the trip to Tallahassee.
Well, no, you know what's happening. I got people calling me, and I'm not, I'm like, okay, people are calling me. I'm sorry, I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb when I jumped in. So I'm sorry. I don't know how much of that you caught or lost. So sorry.
Oh, that's what it is. People are seeing you on the air. They're like, hey, I'm listening to you on the air. It's like, well, let's not tell me that while I'm on the air, right? All right, well, Brian, listen, man, thanks again for your time. What we're going to do, folks, we're going to take us another break, get ready to go here. We're going to see when if Mr. A.D. Drew is deciding to grace us with his presence, and we will go from there. But we will continue the conversation about HBCU sports and things that are going on right here on the BCSN GameTime Show. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I'm sorry, real quick, while you're out there, make sure you get some catfish. I hear the catfish is good out there in Jackson.
Oh, the catfish is supposed to be pretty good here in Jackson. All right, well, boom, you heard it.
That's what they say. That's what they say. I've never been, so you let me know.
Actually, I don't know if you remember, we did come to Jackson a very, very long time ago. Our
We mean you. I've never been to Jackson.
Yes, you have.
No, I have not. No, I haven't.
See?
No, I haven't.
Like, that's what happens with old age.
You must have gone with another Brian Fulford and not this Brian Fulford. This Brian Fulford never has gone to Jackson, Mississippi. I don't care what you say. I've never been there. All right, have a good broadcast.
I won't pull the pictures out on it, but folks, we'll be back.
Oh, please, post the pictures. Because I bet you'll find out. Oh yeah, we weren't in Jackson.
Drew, so we're still going to go ahead and take our break. We're going to come back in. We have him now, the diva himself. I'm sorry, not the diva. We're not going to call him the diva. The big dog.
The
big dog. A.D. Drew is in the building. So as soon as we return, folks, he'll be joining us to talk about the NYC HBCU Classic featuring Morehouse versus the Howard Bison, the Morehouse Maroon Tigers. We'll be back right here with more on the BCSN GameTime Show.
College football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC, plus an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in due.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the BCSN GameTime Show live from the vet right here in Jackson, Mississippi. And, well, you see him looking up at us as his image is there. I guess he's busy. Mr. Drew, how you doing, sir?
Can you hear me, man?
Yes, Mr. Verizon, we can hear you. Well, we heard you. Are you still there? Uh-oh. So it looks like we're having audio issues with Drew now.
Same thing as Brian. Everybody wants to call me now.
Oh.
Yeah, let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb for a moment.
There you go. So I think he's going to have to leave out to come back to do that. But
no, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, you're good. All right, cool.
Good.
So how are you doing?
I'm in the actually I'm in the concourse underneath the stadium walking out. So as soon as I get out here on the field, I'll turn my camera on.
Give everyone a view of where he is playing today. Of course, as we mentioned, it's let's put the graphic up for that game. We have the Howard Bison hosting the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse in the HBCU NY Classic. I believe this is year 2 of the event and getting ready to get going. And, you know,
that would be year 4,
a little bit about
year
4. Okay, my apologies. I guess I'm a little behind on that one then.
Yeah,
so
year 2 for me.
Year 4. Oh, that's what, and exactly. That's what I was about to say. It's 2 for Drew, which makes it, you know, the other 2 didn't count because he wasn't involved in it. You know, as far as we're concerned, Drew wasn't involved in it. So no, we of course, Morehouse is one of the long-term partners that we have here on the BCSN, and are looking forward to it. Drew, let's talk a little bit about where you see this game going. I had an opportunity to hear a few of your comments on the Inside the HBCU Sports Lab the other day, so we know it's going to be a difficult task for the Maroon Tigers to keep in, but what do you see coming up in this game?
Well, let's be honest. Morehouse is a big underdog in this particular matchup, and I hope you guys can hear me over the music. They're doing the pregame music, but it's just like Brian said previously. It's going to take Howard making mistakes, and not only Howard making mistakes, but Morehouse actually able to take advantage of those mistakes. Despite losing last year, Morehouse finally played one of their best games of the year against Howard, and that was Miles Scott's coming out party last year, where he solidified himself as the starter for the Morehouse Maroon Tigers. So, you know, Miles Scott right now coming into this week led the conference in passing yards. Got to take care of the ball, not turn the ball over. Nothing wrong with throwing the ball away and playing for another down. Morehouse has to end every possession off of somebody's foot. That means punt, field goal, or kickoff. And obviously the kickoff would occur after a touchdown. If other than that, Morehouse does not have a chance in this particular game.
All right. Well, listen, we know the Howard Bison started off the season defeating the Rattlers of Florida A&M in the Orange Blossom Classic. And as they get ready for this game, you know, this is one of those things. We do realize that Morehouse is kind of in somewhat of a rebuilding mode. I believe this is year 2 for the football coach, correct, Drew?
Yeah, year 2 under the Mathis regime.
Right. And so, you know, this is that year, one of those years where you want to start seeing, you expect to start seeing some improvement, some stability. But again, when you're playing up in division, it can be difficult at times to get those wins. Have you made your way out to the field yet, Drew?
Yes, I have. You can go ahead and flip me on.
Let's go back and get it up, and let's get a shot of the location that they are playing in now. So, Drew, tell all the folks where you are and where this game is happening.
I am in MetLife Stadium. We are in East Rutherford, New Jersey, home of the New York Jets and the New York Giants. The New York Jets actually play at home tomorrow. I believe that's a 1 o'clock kick. Don't quote me on that. But that's one of the reasons why this game is being played at 1 o'clock today versus a 4 o'clock start like we've had traditionally in the past.
And for those who have no clue of what he's talking about, that is to give the stadium crew adequate time to flip the field to be ready for the Jets in their home performance.
And I don't quite know if you can see it, but the end zones and the 50-yard line are not branded with the HBCU NY logo this year because of that game. As I'm walking out towards midfield right now, you actually see the Jets logo at the 50-yard line.
Okay. Well, actually, no, Drew. Unfortunately, we don't see anything. Your camera's frozen, so we aren't able to see the field that you're bringing in. So I don't know if maybe you can try to turn it back on, or turn it off and turn it back on. And so we'll see if that comes up. But Drew, besides that game, are there any other games that you'd like to talk about today that you are interested in seeing the outcome of what's going on?
Obviously, we're looking for the conference series with between the CIAA and the SIAC as Edward Waters takes on Virginia Union. Outside of that, you definitely have a game FAMU and Albany State. But let's go back to Thursday night, Roy. Great game Thursday night between Clark Atlanta and Fort Valley State in a game that came down to the last minute moments of the game. Neither team could put the other one away, and a great game on ESPN2.
Yeah, it was. Go ahead, John. Come on in.
I wanted to actually. It was a great game by Fort Valley State's quarterback Don Hudson Jr. That was true freshman, his first career start, and he put up 142 pass yards, 2 touchdowns, and also rushed for 119 yards on the ground. So I think it's really safe to say that Fort Valley State has their quarterback for the rest of the year now.
Assuming they can keep him healthy, I think he has solidified the spot. But I'm a numbers man. That could be an anomaly there, Jai. We'll find out. He's got to do it a couple of more times. And especially when you're talking 18, 19-year-old freshmen, sometimes let's see if he starts reading his own press clippings, or in this case, in this era, starts looking at his own IG posts, if you understand what I'm saying, and see if he can stay level-headed and continue to grind.
Were we able to get those highlights in? Okay, we'll figure that out. Well, we know what we're going to do. We'll just get that worked out. Well, listen, guys, who knows? This young man just may have been the truth. He may have been just that poise coming in, knowing who he is and what he wants to do, and then having that offense uniquely suited for what his talents are. So congratulations to the young man and what he was able to do and get out there. And, again, we had that conversation with us. I'm not sure if you were able to hear it, Drew, about the Unity Classic over in Jacksonville that Brian talked about. We talked about the fact that Coach Jenkins has taken over that team at Edward Waters, and we know that the coaching is going to be up to par. That coaching is going to be great and give them the opportunity to be in the position to make the plays that they need to. And the question is, are the players ready? What's your thought on that?
Well, from a conference perspective, I'm hoping that this is the Brian Jenkins that I know and hate. And what I mean by know and hate, because he was part of that, he the one who started off that 9-year run that FAMU and Bethune had, where Bethune won 9 consecutive games. So I hope for today, that's the Brian Jenkins that we see. And I say hate with all due respect, because I don't hate the man on a personal level. But, what he did to when I was a Rattler, that's hard to forgive. But I need him to get that out of his system, because we have Edward Waters in 2 weeks. So I need him to go ahead and get all that winning out of his system, so that when we take them on in 2 weeks, we can go ahead and handle our business too.
So you need them to kind of win well, and then, as you say, start reading their own press clippings and just kind of look past the Maroon Tigers, huh?
Exactly. And I believe we take them on the week after they play Bethune. Never want to wish hurt, harm, or anything on a particular player, but we always know what it is when an upper division and a lower division teams play. Teams that tend to be bumps and bruises that you normally wouldn't have on the same level games. So hopefully we'll be in a position where we can take advantage of any potential bumps and bruises.
All righty. Well, Drew, we're going to let you ask one more time. Is there any other game that you'd like to talk about before we get you out of here and let you go ahead and get yourself together? Letting folks know where they are able to watch this game, but anything else you want to mention?
Man, just watch HBCU football. I don't care what station, what channel, what streaming network you watch it on. Just turn it on and let it watch. Put the game on every doggone device, because everybody got 4 or 5 devices in your house. You got your iPad, your phone, your computer, your smart TV. Put a different game on each one. We need the numbers. We need to We need to look good for all these advertisers so that we can command more money. But one of them devices need to be tuned into HBCU Go. And if you're on DirecTV or any other uh, cable system, that would be on the Grio beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern as the Howard Bison take on my Morehouse Maroon Tigers. Season 125 for the Maroon Tigers, everybody. 125 years of Maroon Tiger history.
Why didn't you lead with that, Drew?
Wanted to give you something to think about on the way out.
You guys know I like to give Drew a hard time, man. That's our guy. Once again, folks, AD Drew live from Rutherford, New Jersey, in the stadium for that team that's green and white that I refuse to mention the name of, being a Dolphins fan, and then the New York Giants as well. So we're going to be back. We're expecting Dr. Cavill, Saundra Stamps, and Charles Bishop to be rolling up relatively soon as we get ready to close out this program and get you guys ready for our guy, the Carlos Brown Show, and the crew coming in and having some fun, of course, getting you ready, talking all things Southern football, some things Grambling football, and then a lot of things Alcorn football with Charles Edmonds there as well, doing what they do. And we're going to be back with more right here on the BCSN Game Time Show after this.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC, plus an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
And we are live back here at the Vet, getting ready for today's game, the WC Gordon Classic, where the Tigers of Jackson State will host the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee University, coming in and getting some stuff. Well, we're still waiting for Dr. Cavill and Charles and Sonia to get here so that we can have some conversations about the things that they've got going on, some of the things that are happening with that. And so, you know what? Let's do this. We're going to actually pull up a couple of clips. So if we're going to go to the add video clips and go to that SSS folder, video clips, and we're going to pull up some of the conversation that Charles Charles was the guest for Sonia on the She Say Sports for this week. And just getting to some of those conversations, just pull up any one of the clips.
I've had a collegiate basketball player who was struggling at the time with life. I'll say he had a very hard time transitioning from a certain lifestyle in his neighborhood, and then going to collegiate where he cannot do those things or he loses a scholarship, right? And then he also has people who, when he was back at home, were his support in his mind, right? Not recognizing that they necessarily weren't a healthy support system, but they were. He had a hard time leaving that lifestyle behind because he felt like he didn't want to be looked at or portrayed as I'm too good now, or I'm going to
sell out, or I'm better.
Right. And so when he would go home for visits during, college holidays or breaks, he would come back and the coach would say, like, he's Catalan at Automasters. We offer a hand-picked selection of used and certified pre-owned vehicles.
All right, that was Miss Stamp's show from last week. We will actually have some clips of her from the conversation with Charles Bishop from this previous Friday. But before we get into that, John's got a few more things that he wants to talk about as it relates to some of this D2 football. What we got, John?
I'll say one of the highlights from last week as well was Johnson C. Smith taking down Valdosta State at home. Valdosta State in the AFCA coaches poll, they were ranked 11th in the nation. And they came into JCSU thinking they were going to win. JCSU won by 2 scores. And Kelvin Durham had 4 touchdowns, 3 on the ground, 1 passing. But I wanted to address what is the disrespect for HBCUs in terms of these coaches polls? Because they beat a team that's in the top 15, yet Valdosta only drops a few spots. Johnson C. Smith, although they were already on the outside looking in by maybe 2 spots, they don't jump into the top 25. I feel like that's a common theme around any HBCU schools in particular. We're disrespecting in the national polls and rankings like that. And I just don't understand, because Johnson C. Smith, even last year, put out a great team. They started off the season 8-0. They peaked in the top 20. Started off 8-0, beat a ranked team as well, and only peaked in the top 20, then dropped out. Of course, they stumbled at the end. But I just don't understand it. And, well, what's your take on that?
Well, that's one of the things that, of course, has actually been going on for years, where the HBCUs, and the truth of the matter is a lot of the voters don't even watch the HBCU games. And I think that is the biggest problem. So they don't see how dominant these teams are, who deserve to be ranked and who can be up in those areas. And then what ends up happening is you get a lot of this cross-conference play. And when you have the cross-conference play with the Division IIs, and the HBCUs don't win those out-of-conference games. And, we're not talking about the Bowie States, the Johnson C. Smiths, the Virginia Unions, because those teams normally are doing well, even on the outside of it looking in. But it's just something that's been there. It's been there for years, which is one of the reasons why we do our own rankings and putting these things out and talk about how these teams actually perform and the things that they're able to do as we look at some of these different things. But that's really what it is, man. They just got to get in because, not only I believe it was Valdosta State ranked 15, they were the runner-up last year of the Division II championship. So, this was a team that has a pedigree and has that. Johnson C. Smith, there's absolutely no reason that they should not have been moved into the top 25 at least in the Division II. And that just goes to the bias that they have against the HBCUs. And, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Y'all can say what you want to say. And we're going to do that. Let's see. You know what? Do we have any comments from anybody watching the show?
Oh, yes, we do. Let's see.
Let's get some comments in and talk to some. See what the folks are talking about while we're waiting for the dean to come in.
We got Emmett Jones saying Howard by 50.
Put it up on the screen. Just click on top of it.
All right.
We'll put it up.
Howard by 50.
Howard by 50. All right. Emmett, hey, thanks for tuning in. Get it in. And, I don't know that Howard's going to – you got to show me that Howard's going to put up 50. I don't care who they playing. So we'll see how that goes in doing it.
Let's see.
but we definitely got some other games. Virginia Union is the powerhouse. Why do you think Edward Waters knocks off Virginia Union? If not it's not an upset.
In my opinion, the key to Edward Waters even staying within 2 scores of Virginia Union is somehow containing Curtis Allen. Curtis Allen went for 206 yards and 2 touchdowns against Miles in the first game, 6 yards a carry. And this is a common theme with Virginia Union when it comes to running backs. They always have somebody that's going to average 5 yards a carry. And they have a massive O-line as well. That's one. I think that's probably one of the most underrated things about Virginia Union. They always have a massive O-line. They always going to run the ball. If they can contain Curtis Allen and stop R.J. Rosales, who's the quarterback, I think that's the key. It's possible. Anything's possible, but
well, I think Emmett too. The other reason for that why it's not an upset, and I think the 2 primary things are: one, Coach Brian Jenkins is a high caliber coach, and a lot of folks know that, so they know what he's capable of. And then 2, Edward Waters is home. This is a home game. It'd be different if this game was being played at Virginia Union. Then I think a lot more people would consider it more of an upset if Edward Waters was able to pull it out. But, just those 2 factors alone, your home field, you got a coach that everybody is high on. So I think that's what that is. Slide a sports guy. If Morehouse scores, it will be Slide, where are you at, man? You need to come on in and talk to us a little bit, see what you got going on today, and talk to us about some of these other D2 games. Our guy Slide the sports guy does his thing with us, and he's out there getting some additional things done. Folks, as we're looking for some of that stuff, Mr. Hunt, I'm going out on a limb. Yeah, y'all need to stop with this prediction.
It's going to happen.
Let me be unbiased today. I'm not going to say anything because I did not get a chance to watch the FAMU game last week, and didn't watch the other one because it was the day before my birthday, so I was not concerned with any football. But this is the thing I want to say to folks, and I want you to remember about this game against Albany State and FAMU. This is where I think the difference is going to be made. One of the things a lot of people are forgetting is that through the transfer portal this past season, FAMU brought in Division I defensive and offensive line transfers, and they brought in a good number of them. And we all know that that's usually where when you go from division to division, even FBS to FCS, that is normally Coach Sanders talked about this a lot when he was at Jackson State. That those horses, those hogs down in the trenches, that's where the big difference is. That's why I think FAMU has a much better opportunity to win this game. Is anything possible? Of course, anything is possible. But I think the offensive and defensive line make a huge difference today in the game, and are going to give FAMU the edge. We are losing our picture. Oh, there it is. I'm back again. Let's see. Agree if it's a must win. Yeah, agree it's a must win for Colsey. I wouldn't want to face Eddie Jackson in the 220 club losing to Albany State. Yeah, I won't finish the rest of that. But no, trust me, that is something that Coach Colsey does not want to do. I guarantee you, and I hate to say this, if FAMU does lose this game today, he is on the hot seat. Mm-hmm. And, because, of course, that was part of the story. It is a story, so we'll talk about it. Quinn Gray was supposed to be the next head coach of the Florida A&M Rattlers from our previous AD, who was ready to bring him in and I believe and take over. And there was just a lot of stuff, going there. So we're wondering how long Coach T.C. Taylor is going to keep his starters on the field against Tuskegee. We'll let you know after the first quarter. That's what you'll find out. Depending on how well the first quarter goes, he does say if Tuskegee plays up, plays above their head, plays whatever you want to call it, or if they keep this game close, the Jackson State starters aren't going anywhere as they get ready. Let's see. If we lose tonight, Colsey may not make it to Well, listen, again, this is the truth. Rattler Nation can be very, very difficult at times. So it's going to be interesting to see this. This is a seminal moment. It's a watershed moment in game in Coach Colsey's tenure. I don't think they just have to win this game. I think they have to convincingly win. It doesn't have to be by a lot of points, but they have to, we've got to put up at least 3 touchdowns. And on top of that, we've got to control the game. Mm-hmm. And so, and those who watch football understand what I mean when I say that. But we have to control this game, and it has to look like a Division I FCS program playing a Division II program. That's just the only thing about it. There's no way around that.
I wanted to ask you, how many of these SIAC SWAC games do you think are kept within 2 touchdowns?
Say the last part again.
How many of these SIAC SWAC games are kept within 2 touchdowns?
Wow. You know what? That's a good conversation to have. Let's go ahead and go to some of the images, and we'll pull that up and kind of go through some of them. We'll say yes or no to those as we get them in those overlays. So as we start looking for the SIAC, because that is one of the things happening. Listen, this is another one that people aren't really sure what's going to happen. I say yes, this one stays within 2 touchdowns, unfortunately. For Grambling. Yes, unfortunately for Grambling, I say it stays within 2.
I agree. Kentucky State has come out a lot better than they did last season. Last season, they started 0-5. The offense is really kicking it into gear. Although they had a bad loss to Albany State last week, they did have a great win against Central State in week 1. They have a run game. It's looking really good. They got 2 great receivers on the outside with Jaden Hill and oh man, I'm blanking on his name right now. But they do have a great offense. I have not seen Grambling yet, so I can't really make a full assessment on their team. But I have full faith in Kentucky State to keep up with them.
Okay. Next up, we have
no
Miles versus Alabama State. Listen, Andrew Body being healthy and Andrew Body being Andrew Body, So wait, here's something funny about this. 2 years ago, Coach Sam Shade, who's now at Alabama A&M, went down to Montgomery and beat Alabama State. That prompted Andrew Body being brought in as a quarterback. He was hurt last year. Wasn't able to. I don't think he was able to finish out the season or whatever. But yeah, Sam Shade's not at Miles anymore, and Andrew Body is playing like everybody expected Andrew Body to play in. This is one of those games where I see somebody putting up 50.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, this does not stay within 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Miles does not have the same team. One of the strengths of Miles the past 2 years was the run game. We did have a massive offensive line. That is no longer. Even against Edward Waters, we struggled to run the ball. I just don't see it, especially with the way, like you said, Andrew Body is looking. He's looking like he's about to run away with SWAC Player of the Year at this very moment. So I expect this game to be over by halftime.
All right. And the next one, we've already talked about the FAMU Albany State game. So Dr. Gaville, we'll get more into this when Dr. Gaville gets here. Tuskegee is ranked number 4 in the mid-major polls, but Jackson State is ranked number 1 in the major division polls. And like we talked about, Tuskegee won the last time these 2 teams met, but that was a lifetime ago in football years. No, I do not see this one staying within 2 touchdowns. And I mean, even if the score ends up being Tuskegee 21, Jackson State's gonna have, they gonna have more than 21 points more than what they get. So I think Coach Taylor has his guys primed and ready to go. The defending national champions, HBCU national champions, and this year they want to prove something. They have a chip on their shoulder, and they want to prove that it wasn't just a fluke, and that they are for real, and they're going to be here for a long time to come.
I have to agree. Tuskegee did look very good against Central State in their first night game, but this is not Central State. Jackson State is a proven program. Like you said, national champs last year. It's not going to be close unless something magical happens. I don't expect the game to be close at all.
All right, say something magical has to happen. Harry Potter shows up out of the stands.
Well, that's all.
All right, that's all of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that is all of those games. So what we're gonna do, folks, is we're gonna take us another break. We'll be back with more. We'll see if Dr. Cavill and the guys get here. What's going on with them? And other than that, though, as you see, we're getting set up, and the folks are getting the tailgate area is long here at the vet. Kim, let's see if we can get a shot on the other camera that's going around. You can go around that way behind him and get on yours and just start swinging from there to let the folks see this. This is an extremely long area that kind of looks like it's a fenced-in area that they have. And it honestly looks like it's about – go ahead and go to that one. Yeah, let's go to that one.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Get ready for the inaugural Unity Classic, Saturday, September 13th at Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium. It's a clash of the Virginia Union Panthers of the CIAA and the Edward Waters Tigers of the SIAC, plus an HBCU band battle between the Edward Waters Triple Threat Marching Band and the Virginia Union Ambassadors of Sound. The inaugural Unity Classic goes down in Duval.
All right, everybody. Hello and welcome back to the BCSN Game Time Show. I am now joined by the team members, the professors, and the dean of the #1 HBCU sports show on the internet inside the HBCU Sports Lab, Professor Charles Bishop, and the dean of the
Yes,
College of HBCU
good to be here.
Sports,
Good to
Dr.
be here.
Bill.
Great to be here.
Jackson,
Great to be back home.
Mississippi,
Okay.
home of the legendary Charles Bishop.
It's good to be home. It's excellent to be home.
Good to be home, Charles.
Yes,
All right.
indeed.
Well, listen, before we get into a little bit of the nostalgia and the lore that is the vet in Jackson State football, let's talk a little bit about the event that you had going on yesterday, Doc.
I appreciate that. Yes, we had the HBCU Sports Ecosystem Lecture Series, and we started it back in May on campus of Texas Southern University. And then we had a chance and we had to talk a lot of folks that came in, ADs, commissioners, Dr. Charles McCullen, Dr. Holloman of the SIAC, obviously Charles out of the SWAC, and several of the ADs. And they was like, hey, we'd like to continue this. How do we make this work? And credit to Ashley Robinson. He jumped up and said, hey, we want to be the first one. Let's figure out the schedule and let's get this done. Bring you to Jackson. He wanted his students to be able to participate and hear about this. He got Charles to come in, the commissioner. And then obviously we matched it up this weekend with Tuskegee. So we had two significant brands. We had the balance of having NCAA FCS Division I. We had an NCAA Division II program in terms of Tuskegee. So we brought in Reginald Ruffin as the AD. So we had two sessions, a session with just the ADs, Ashley Robinson and Reginald Ruffin. Charles co-hosted that with me. So we got to bring him home. So I was excited about that in terms of him coming back and showing that bright light of something that is very and extremely proud to him, as you could imagine. And then the second session was with Ashley Robinson and the commissioner. And they dropped so many dimes and so many points. Some of it is glad we didn't do it live because they, after the fact, they got excited. Hopefully I'm the kind that can bring that out of people. But we got a little stuff. There might be tidbits of some recordings here and there. We did get that part. Okay. But we'll be able to now kind of edit selectively what we can put out officially on the screens after we debriefed yesterday with them. And they took care of us. I mean, they picked me up from the airport, put me hotel-wise. So credit to Jackson State University, particularly Ashley Robinson and his entire team that provided a hospitality that I always get in Jackson when I visit, but it was on another level. So I'm extremely excited and blessed to be a part of this. Last thing I'll say is we go to Norfolk next. Okay. Give some love to the MEAC in terms of Dr. Kerry Banks is kind of doing the heavy lifting to put that together. And we get a chance then. Hopefully we can bring in the MEAC commissioner, obviously the AD at Norfolk State. There's a woman there, and she's doing tremendous work, so we can get in a little bit of this gender to make sure that we have a different perspective of what that looks like. And then we come back to the SWAC territory, Montgomery, and end in Atlanta as we do October, November, and then December. And we'll see where it goes from that.
Doc, let's get in. And Charles, I guess I'll come to you with this question to talk to us a little bit about your experience with it yesterday. Why do you think that this conversation is an important conversation for us to be having in the HBCU space?
It's extremely important because this is a very engaged fan base. So when you start talking about sort of the business of the conference and really the tidbits that we got yesterday, where the conference is going, I think it was phenomenal to sit back and kind of listen and kind of hear the vision of what Dr. McCullen has for, especially for SWAC TV. And for a really engaged fan base, for people like athletic directors, the commissioner to get out in front of the fan base, that means everything. And I think people want to hear that sort of information.
All right. Well, before we jump into some of the games, let's see how we got a little. Well, Carlos Brown starts in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
he does. And so what we're going to do?
Yeah, we want to make sure we give him his love, but we get a chance to get in a couple of things.
Right. We'll come back in. So let's do this then. So we got that out. Definitely wanted to make sure we talked about that. Let folks know where we will be coming with that conversation and things and how you can check it out as we move forward. But let's get into some of these games. Of course, we're going to use this one, save this one for last. So let's kind of go through a rapid fire. Just start them up on the screen, man, and we'll go from there as we talk to these two gentlemen. This one's last because that's the one we're at now. So we'll do that one last. Okay, so, there we go. Bethune-Cookman versus South Carolina State, cross-conference matchup. South Carolina State, of course, to the MEAC. Chinnis Berry, his second year, came in all guns blazing, let folks know that there is a new sheriff in town in the MEAC.
Yeah.
And of course,
No
now
doubt.
now we've got the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats who come into the SWAC and have not had the success that they want. We'll just kind of say it that way. What do you guys see in this game today?
Well, I mean, I think Bethune-Cookman does have some pieces, some talent pieces. Guys like Malik Huggins, who has proven time week in, week out in the SWAC that he can get behind secondary. So it'll be very interesting to see can Bethune-Cookman get that passing game up and going. But it's hard to go against South Carolina State at home in Orangeburg. Like you said, the Chinnisberry effect is real.
Yeah, I'm along with that. I'll say that this is intriguing because obviously this is Bethune-Cookman, former member of the MEAC. This used to be a conference matchup. And during the last era, Bethune-Cookman was rolling. They would get the best of South Carolina State. Now, previously, Brian Jenkins era, talking about Edward Waters and what he may be doing now in terms of classic matchup they have. But I've heard y'all talk about that. But in South Carolina State, historically, has dominated the MEAC. So this is a chance to see if South Carolina State continually get it right, or is Bethune-Cookman having a chance to make a major statement in regards to what that looks like. We see the buses with the teams coming in.
Buses with the teams starting to roll in.
That's fascinating when you talk about this particular matchup from that perspective. Can Bethune-Cookman show that they're going to be more than a average team or below average team, to be frank? Are they going to take that next step? And is South Carolina State going to continue to do what they want? And last thing, if South Carolina State gets this done, now to me it's 3-0 against the SWAC with only one game remaining prior to the championship game that will feature the two champions.
There you go. Next game, please. As we are coming up to our next game, we're talking about
that's another fun
Alabama
matchup.
A&M versus Tennessee State. Two new coaches, two first-year coaches coming in, taking over from one, a successful transition in Eddie George, who had brought Tennessee State back to some prominence or at least some consistent winning, as we'll say, and Sam Shade coming over from Miles College after he was extremely dominant there to resurrect the Bulldog Nation. What do you got, Charles?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a fascinating matchup, especially for Alabama A&M with a player like Cornelius Brown at quarterback, a dual threat guy. We saw him throw for 260 yards and run for another 70 yards last week. He's going up against a pretty stingy defense with regards to Tennessee State. Tennessee State playing at home. I love the way they grind you down and wear you down by the fourth quarters. And they have a running back, a transfer from Southern, Kendrick Grimes, who I think will give Alabama A&M's defense a lot today. So I'm going to go with Tennessee State at home.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fascinating in this while Charles does the grunt work in terms of dropping the jewels, in terms of who to keep your eyes with players, coaches on the field. I'm looking at this in terms of this matchup. Obviously, the Legacy Series. Historically, when Alabama A&M moved up, I had just moved to Huntsville, Alabama. This is just before they were making the transition to the SWAC in '99. So they were playing then. Then it went on hiatus, but now the two ADs are back. And to Charles's point, you have first-year coaches, one coming at Tennessee State, which lost a lot of players after winning a championship because Eddie George left. Then Alabama A&M bringing some of the players on a championship team from Miles College up there. And so both of them have gotten solid HBCU Division I wins, played up. So we're trying to see what that looks like. But this one starts in Nashville. So there's a question in terms of the fan base. We know Alabama A&M is going to travel up there well. This is a type of game you believe that Tennessee State fans like to see, so they should be in the house pretty well. But we'll check that. But on the field, it's going to be fascinating what that looks like. And also shout out to Brandon King, who wrote an article about this, and he is continuing his framework about further conference expansion, particularly from the SWAC, and what would that look like with Tennessee State. So if you get a chance, go check out that article. Besides that, but he gets into some of the particular of why he believes this series is important. It's over the next 4 years. Next year is in Huntsville, and I plan to be a part of it. And if we can continue to do the work we do with GameTime, we'll work to see if we can make that happen. I know you'll be in Alabama A&M and later this season as we continue the series. But we have some big announcements that potentially come up, and we'll do that at the appropriate time. But fascinating matchups in terms of these two FCS non-conference games you just talked about.
And as Doc mentioned, this is a new 4-year series that they are restarting. They're right up I-65 from each other, so they're good going. Next game. We're gonna have Doc. I'm gonna have to pull one of your things. We want to make sure we get Carlos started on time, so we're gonna move in and get a little bit more rapid fire. North Carolina Central, Fayetteville State. Who you got?
Got to go with NC Central on this.
Got to go with Central.
Central.
Next, we've got the Bulldogs of Bowie State versus the Dell State Hornets.
Yeah.
This is really quickly. This one normally would have been no-brainer the last few years, and we would be calling Bowie State.
Right, exactly.
For the upset. But
I agree. But Bowie has been down a little bit. So they won their first game. So I'm interested in seeing this matchup. Does Delaware State continue to do what they need to do, or is Bowie going to show that they're going to be a real player in the CIAA? But I got to lean Delaware State.
Yeah, I got to go with Delaware State. A lot of Marquise Gillis in this game for the Hornets.
All right, next game. We have got the Johnson C. Smith Bulls versus
Golden
the
Bulls.
Golden Bulls, yeah. Yeah.
And we got the Lane Dragons versus Allen University.
Lane is struggling.
Yeah, that'll be a tough one. Let me go with Allen at home.
I'm going to go with Allen as well.
All right. Next, we've got the Lincoln Lions versus the Winston-Salem State Rams.
Conference matchup.
Going with the Fighting Gaithers on this one.
The Fighting Gaithers.
Winston-Salem State. Yeah.
That was, for those who are
the Rams,
uninitiated, that would be the
Winston-Salem
Rams.
State
Winston-Salem State. Next game. Miles versus Alabama State.
Got to go with the SWAC, Alabama State.
Alabama State.
Yeah, I was originally thinking about Miles, but AD probably told us that they lost a lot, and he was one of the first people that came out there and said a lot of those players transferred that were eligible to Alabama A&M.
Yeah.
The way Hornets are playing offensively, big win over Southern next week, we got to go with the Hornets of Alabama State.
All right. Grambling versus Kentucky State.
Yeah, I got to go with Grambling at home. I like their matchup, and I think the offense gets on track today against Kentucky State.
I'm going to go with Grambling. Quietly down there, they are excited about what they believe is happening in Grambling. The G, they say they're back. We will see.
Okay. Albany State versus the Rattlers, Tallahassee, Florida.
Yeah, this is the closest one of the D2 matchups, but I'm still going to go with the Rattlers.
Yeah, I go with the Rattlers by a little bit.
There's that jab. It's right there. Central State versus versus Benedict.
Benedict Tigers, I think they're back. I don't know how far back, but it's certainly enough to beat Central State.
All right.
Yeah, I like Benedict's defense in this one.
Next game. Morehouse versus Howard.
Got to go with Howard Bison, yeah.
All right. Unity Classic.
This is a big one. One of the good ones. If we need to, leave it off on it, but this is fascinating. I go with Virginia Unions, but do not be surprised if Edward Waters gets it done.
Yeah, I got to go with Virginia Union this one. I love their defense and I love the running game. Curtis Allen should be able to go off on this one.
All right, and our last game, the one that we are here visiting, the Tigers of Jackson State hosting the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. As Charles has reminded everyone, the last time these two teams played, Jackson State lost in that game.
Yeah.
But Charles, as I said, that was a lifetime ago.
It was a lifetime ago. So I'm looking for Jackson State to get their lick back today. So
yeah, I got to agree. This is not the Tuskegee team that defeated Jackson State, nor is this the Jackson State team that lost to the Golden Tigers. So Jackson State big in this matchup. We tried to sell it on the brands, but no, Jackson State.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Let's go ahead and clear them out. That's going to do it for us today as we get ready to make way for the Carlos Brown Show. They actually are probably starting, and we're getting ready. So you guys make sure you click on over.
Flip over. I'm doing it.
Who is this? Passe Vic? Did I say that right? Or
Yep.
Vic says Tuskegee by 12, Charles.
Oh.
So I just want to let you know that somebody said
how
that.
nice.
And
He
again,
said,
folks,
how nice.
As you see the crowd start
Dreamers! Shout out to
starting
the
to load
shirt.
up here at the vet. Like I said, one of the greatest environments to ticket in. I believe we're coming back here, if I'm not mistaken. I got to look at the schedule, Doc, to make sure. But I think we come back for
Yeah, I
another
believe
game.
so.
And we're going to get some more stuff, get some B-roll. We will probably come back before the game gets started to do a little bit more live from right here at the vet to let you know what's going on. Folks, we want to thank you for taking the time to kick it with us. Next weekend, we'll be on that MEAC/Indy situation. The Game Time Show will be live from the Aggie Eagle Classic in Greensboro. Look for David Rhodes, who is of the Dr. Camille's Inside
Indy Report,
who's going to be joining us for that next week. And some other folks, Jamie Walker may come and stop by. Jamie has a game that day. He'll be calling the game somewhere, so I don't think he'll make it.
Yeah.
But we will be there ready and willing to see what's going on. Looking forward to having a lot of fun. Want to thank Ja. Want to thank Kim, Dr. Cavill, Professor Bishop. Thank you. Folks, until next time, we'll see you a little bit later. This is Roy Evans right here on the BCSN Game Time Show. Enjoy your HBCU Football Saturday.